All right, everybody's wondering what's happened to Ethereum, Cardano, as well as a majority of the altcoins. We'll talk about 15 of them and try and do it within 6 minutes. So we're looking at Ethereum. It does have some strong support around $1,800. And you can see I've been trading this in the past. There's a bunch of stuff here, a bunch of lines. And I was telling people back when COVID happened, which is actually this point in March of 2020, everybody got a stimulus check if you were in America, and it was about $1,200, I believe. I kept telling everybody, buy Ethereum at 139. You're not going to get it cheaper than 139. Just throw your stimulus at it, wait a few months, and see what happens. And nobody listened to me, of course. But a few months later, it went from $139 up to about $4,300. If you had $139, which you had $1,200 with the stimulus check, in 6 months, that 139 would be 3,500. But as people don't like to do their own technical analysis or listen to other people telling them what they think is a good idea, here we are back in 2025, and we're all the way back down at 1,800. As you can see, back in 2023, we were still at 1,600, which is well above $139 per Ethereum. However, Ethereum's a little bit slow mover than some of the other coins, and which brings me over to Cardano. So we're looking at Cardano. It is having this major support line being pushed upwards. It's trying to hold above the 200 EMA. We saw that when it did this touch at 0.63, it had a major increase up to $1.17. So nearly 100% increase, I believe, if my math's right. About 86 to 100%. We are back down at that trend line, and we want to see it hold above the trend line and the 200 EMA and start pushing upwards. But Cardano has very high potential, as it is going to be a tax-free crypto. One of the viewers had suggested Nexo. I have used Nexo in the past. They actually discontinued working within the United States. And over in Spain, where I am now, apparently a majority of Europe allows Nexo for staking, except for Spain. Portugal allows it, France allows it, Spain does not for some reason. But looking at the percent APY that they give you, they do have fixed term savings as well as flexible savings. Bitcoin at 6%. If you hold their Nexo token, you can get more discounts or higher percentage on your coins that you have staked. XRP at 17, ADA at 7, and it just kind of continues. However, if you are in the US or trying to use a VPN, it will not allow it. But Nexo, it does have high potential, just like majority of other coins we have been looking at. $4, only sitting on $1. That is a 4x. You do want to see it hold above this black trend line. But overall, it could potentially be bullish if it holds above the 200 EMA and breaks above the $1.50. Looking at a meme coin, Spell. Spell is at a bottom right now. It touched the bottom trend line here twice, 3 times potentially. May touch another time. If it gets support, we could see that bull run. And once it breaks 0.002, it does have a lot of potential to keep going upwards, up to even a penny and way higher than that, 2 cents. Just keep Spell in mind if you are interested in meme coins. We were talking about DNT. DNT is at an absolute low. It's also forming this downward wedge pattern. If it does push up above the 200 EMA, we could see it break this downward black trend line and then take off as well. Also very high potential on this one. We also talked about BNT the other day, and BNT actually went up a lot from its previous time. It was down at 0.37, and it is currently up to 0.45. Sorry for speaking loud. The neighbors are actually over-speaking me somehow. I don't know how that's possible, but we are up 21% from our entry point, as we had talked about. We do have signal channels where I do give out those signals, and I do have a one-on-one trading channel. Both of those will be listed in the links below. We are talking about XYO. XYO is also forming a massive cup and handle pattern and does have high potential. Once it also breaks over this downward trend line, which it's actually building a lot of support in between the fair value gap. Once it pushes over the fair value gap and over this 200 EMA, we may see a retest back down to the fair value gap and then a takeoff along with the rest of the crypto market. We are looking at XLM. XLM Not necessarily the best bet, but it is also tax-free. We were looking at this in the past, and it has a high of around 74 cents, even a dollar 36. But you could consider this a massive cup and handle pattern as well. If you're looking at it, something like from this point to this point would be the cup. And then we got from this point to this other point would be the handle. Not necessarily the best cup and handle as it's pretty volatile, but it is holding above the 200 EMA. A little bit of rejection here. We may see a little bit of retracement pushing up, kind of fighting over that 200 EMA and pushing upwards along with the rest of the crypto like XCN and XRP, or sorry, XCN and LCX. Looking at LCX, it is holding strong above this upward trend line, but it has the push down right here. So don't enter on LCX yet. We've been watching it from this whole point back here in December. It's done nothing but decrease in price. So just keep an eye on it. It does have a good utility and high potential. Looking at Doge, we did have a nice little scalp here from this entry point at 0.16. And from that 0.16, we exited around this yellow line, which is around 10%. Not the best gains, but it still has a lot of potential. They do say Dogecoin could hit $4. Even Elon Musk is allowing Doge payments for SpaceX, sweatshirts and stuff like that, as well as Tesla. Now looking at the top coins we hold on this channel, XCN still isn't doing the best. It's starting to test around this orange and yellow line. That would be the 1 cent mark. We do want to see it hold above that 1 cent mark and the 200 EMA. However, we have seen back here that it had a major crash. It's not shown here exactly, but it was up here pushing all the way down to 0.007, which, I mean, is quite a massive drop from being 0.01 cents. But I still believe this cup and handle is going to play out. It's going to try and do some shakeouts, tag those stop losses in this area, and then take off along with the rest of the market. XRP, still consolidating. You could consider this a head and shoulders as well, but I am still very bullish on XRP. It's still holding nicely above the 200 EMA. It's holding nicely above this black upward trend line, and the dates for in April, around April 16th, it's going to be some major news, so keep an eye out in this area. We are testing within this Gaussian fan, so it does have a pretty wide range in this red area, but overall, I believe XRP is very bullish. Core, we talked about it. We had a swing trade entry, and it is going underneath that trend line, potentially hit a stop loss and took us out of the trade. We do want to see it hold over the 0.36 area. Toshi and Torn are two other ones I want to look at before Bitcoin. Toshi's bottoming, but it's still not the best buy at the moment. Torn or Tornado Cash is where you could wash your Bitcoin, so it's completely anonymous. It was a major thing back whenever Bitcoin was getting started. A lot of people used it. They do take a portion of the Bitcoin for doing the washing, but how else do you clean your money, you know? So it's $8.74, also testing within this pendant. We do want to see it hold above that. It's holding above the 200 EMA, which is nice, but $8.74 with an all-time high of nearly $500,000. So if you have $8, it could potentially be around $460 or more. And the fact that it helps with anonymous activity with Bitcoin, it's a very high potential to increase in price. The volume's picking up. It's around the 50 on the RSI. It probably will test a little lower, but if it pushes back above the RSI, we could see a major push on Torn or Tornado Cash. And Bitcoin being the last one, testing and consolidation. The yellow lines are where we had the liquidation for that whale alert. Not really a whale alert because he's liquidated. And now we want to see it push over this black trend line. And I believe we could see a push up to 104,000. 104,000. I always recommend Grass as a passive income. It gives you Grass points, which can be turned into Grass tokens, which is around $1.20 right now free money. They're going to drop their rewards at the end of Epoch 9, I believe. We are on Epoch 6, so there is time to accumulate. Make sure you attach your wallet so you can get that free airdrop. And then I always recommend MEXC with the lowest trading fees for a platform. Definitely do your own research. Just like Nexo is not allowed in the US as well as some other countries. Make sure you can trade on their platform or use VPN. That's not financial advice or any other kind of advice. And I recommend Coinbase as they're doing airdrops, free tokens, free money. Join Coinbase and get free money. That's it for this episode. I will see you guys on the next one.